Hey you guys, I'm really excited about today's video because a lot of you were asking me about meditating with a mala. And I'm so excited that some of you all want to know about this, so I thought I would talk to you today about using mala beads to meditate, which has completely changed the way I practice meditation. And it's really, really good for those of us that might have issues with getting distracted while you're meditating. I have been known all the time actually to be in the midst of meditation and really trying to center myself, and then it's just like my mind starts running and I'm thinking about what I have to make for dinner, what I forgot to do that day, what I forgot to do the next day, and all of a sudden I'm just like, my mind is going 90 to nothing during a time that I'm supposed to be, completely calm and centered. So when I started meditating, which was about a year ago, I started with guided meditations, and those are so awesome. And most of you, or many of you, probably have read my posts that I did on Headspace, that app, which is such a great app when you're starting out because it just leads you through the meditation. You're not lost, you're listening to a voice. I really love it, and I still use it a lot. There's also a couple of other guided meditations that I love that I will link up to on this post because I can't really talk about all of them. It'd take like a year, but I will link to a lot of these different resources so you have them. But essentially I was doing that for a while, but over time it just became a little bit monotonous for me. And I know there's a lot of meditators out there that do the exact same thing every day. They sit down, and that's a beautiful thing. They can just quiet themselves. But for me, I find in my life, I need to switch it up a little bit. Sometimes I start to it becomes very predictable, and even when I'm being guided, I'm finding myself off in la la land. So I started reading about mala beads a couple of months ago, and they just seemed so interesting to me for many reasons. First of all, just the fact that, choosing one's like a really, it's a special time, like finding the right mala for you, but also the fact that it keeps you really, really focused. So what are mala beads? So this is my mala, and there's a lot of different cultures that use different kinds of prayer beads. A rosary is a perfect example. But a mala can really be worn by anyone that's wanting to seek a calmer mind, a calmer spirit. Obviously, they're beautiful pieces of jewelry that you can wear, which, of course, that's not a bad thing. I really like that too, that I have this beautiful piece of jewelry that signifies much more to me. And also the malas have 108 beads on them, and there's lots of different stories as to why the number 108 is significant, which I'll link to some of those resources if you want to see as well. But it's just a beautiful necklace that you use to meditate. So first off, one of the best parts of meditating with a mala is choosing a mala. And that's a really personal experience because all of the malas have different gemstones and beads on them, which really signify and help with certain issues. So just for an example, my mala has 3 different gemstones on it. First, it has obsidian, which is this black shiny gemstone, and that's really helps to stabilize and balance the body. And then also I have lava, which is known to promote mental and physical strength. And then I have turquoise, which is really kind of known as the master healer. It heals many physical and mental ailments, but also it brings love and also helps to detoxify and protect you from harmful pollutants. So that's why I chose those 3 gemstones for myself. And then all of these brown beads are called Rudraksha beads. And they're actually not beads, they're seeds from this little plant that looks like a blueberry. And these seeds are on the inside. And these are basically, generally, they help to increase your clarity and your awareness. And that's obviously a really important part of meditating. It's to keep that level of awareness of yourself and remain clear. So that's why I chose mine. I bought mine from Mala Collective, which has a great website that their malas are beautiful. It's a couple that owns it, and all of the malas are handmade in Bali. They create jobs. Everything's done ethically and fair trade. Everything is sourced fairly, and it's really important to me to know where my necklace is coming from, and I know they put a lot of love into all of the jewelry that they make. So I'll leave you a link there too. They've got some really amazing malas that I really, really love. So, all right, so I kind of told you why I chose mine. Now, what do you do with this thing? So that's why I love malas, because your meditation has a definitive start point and an end point. And for those of you that just, try to meditate and you're sitting there cross-legged with your eyes shut and you're kind of like, what am I doing? When is this going to be over? What's going to happen? This is just, when you're going to start and when you're going to finish. And that's really, really important to me. So, as I mentioned before, there's 108 beads on the mala. And what you do is you put the first small bead between your forefinger, your index finger, and your thumb, and just feel it, kind of press it with your thumb. And what you're going to do while you're meditating, while you're sitting quietly with your eyes closed, is to run each bead underneath your finger. And you're going to basically work your way through 108 beads. And you just kind of feel it. And it's a great thing because it keeps you focused, because you've got that tactile experience. You're feeling that bead in between your fingers, and you just focus on that feeling and work through. Now, you can add a mantra. You can say an intention while you're doing it. And that's the great thing about meditating with a mala. It's like you can do whatever you want to do, whatever works for you. Sometimes I like to say an intention if I'm having a particularly rough day, if I'm not feeling very well. Sometimes I'll just repeat 108 times while I'm moving the beads. I am healing every day. 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 Of course, you're not saying it out loud. You're saying it to yourself. But the crazy thing is about our brains is they respond to practice. They respond to repetition. And so sometimes it seems silly. Oh my gosh, am I really going to say that 108 times? But it's amazing. Your brain gets it over time, and you just go through it, and the neurons start firing differently, and you will find that it will give you an increased sense of awareness of what you're saying. And it's almost like you're believing it more when you're saying it to yourself a lot. So that's one thing you can say. If you're having a tough time with a coworker, if you just had a breakup, I'm good enough. I'm good enough. I'm good enough. Love is all around me. Whatever. The options are limitless, really, for what you can say. And then also, if you don't really want to say an intention, you can use mantras. And a mantra I use a lot, which is a Kundalini mantra. It's 4 syllables: sa, ta, na, ma. And so as you're running the beads through, each bead, sa, ta, na, ma, sa, ta, na, ma, sa, like that, working all the way through. That's a beautiful mantra that keeps me really centered, just repeating those 4 syllables over and over. So after you work your way through the 108 beads, you come to the large stone at the end, and I just place that between my thumb and my forefinger, and you can say a little prayer. And that's it. That's the end of your meditation. It is really a beautiful way to meditate using these beads. And like I said before, I love them because, number one, saying a mantra or repeating an intention keeps me focused on the task that I'm doing. Number two, the gemstones are powerful, and choosing your mala is very personal, and you have a connection to your mala. And thirdly, like I said, having 108 beads on the mala, you just have a defined start point and a defined end point. And you know how long your meditation is going to be. There's really no room for just going off into la la land. It keeps you focused, it keeps you aware, it increases your clarity, and I really enjoy it. I do it when I wake up in the morning. They're next to my bed. Sometimes I don't even get out of my bed and sit down. Sometimes even when I'm laying in my bed, I will grab them and go through the 108 beads, saying my mantras or my intention, and it really starts my day off right. So I hope this was helpful. If you guys have any questions about malas, I would be happy to try to answer them for you if I know, and if not, maybe we can get you hooked up with someone who does. But I really recommend it, especially for beginners. I think it's a great way to meditate.